Good morning, Professor Stagg. This is Nefertiti Boyd. I'm recording my persuasive speech for public speaking. The topic of my speech today is why living together before marriage is not a good idea. I know that the majority of you guys are married. A show of hands, who lived with their spouse before they got married? Okay, so that makes two of you. Today what we're going to go over is the exception to the rule, like yourself, Christina. Most people are not fortunate enough to live with their spouse and still make it with a ring. Right here is a graphic explaining how it does not mean a thing without the ring. A lot of people say it's the sexual revolution that's going on in today's world, or the fact that the economy is so bad. Why I believe it's, let's see, 26% divorce rate from 1960, and a 42% divorce rate as of 2010, and about 180 million people in the United States in 1960 lived with a spouse, compared to in 2010 where 300 million people lived, unmarried couples lived together. Okay, that's 15 times the number of divorces, increased by 121%. Those are huge numbers. Cohabitation in the United States, again, just according to the New York Times, 1,500% cohabitation has increased in the United States since 1960. 1,500%. That is a crazy number. I myself have lived twice with a partner that in neither one of them turned out in marriage. And I believe that this number has a lot to do with it. The purpose of this speech is, again, I know that most of you guys are married, but the purpose of this speech is so that you could hopefully educate your single friends or your nieces, your nephew, eventually your children, and explain to them some of the benefits and some of the negative aspects of living together before marriage. One of the biggest things is that there is no long-term benefit other than marriage when you live with a partner or a spouse, okay? One of the issues that I noticed, especially when I was living with someone, is the amount of toll that it takes on the relationship with your family. You know, if you're with the wrong person, your family knows that you're with the wrong person. Typically, they don't know what to say. They walk on eggshells. It puts a distance between you and your family members. That was one of the biggest downfalls, I would have to say. Another thing is the percentage of women being killed after cohabitating with a man. The dark purple is cohabitating with a man, and the light purple is being married. It's insane, the amount of women who are killed by simply cohabitating with a partner or spouse. One of the topics that I want to touch on is the main reason why these setups fail, like I like to call it, is because we're losing a lot of the importance of ourselves. Okay, we're not focusing on ourselves before we decide to present ourselves to a partner or a love interest. This is so important. It is imperative that you blatantly discuss exactly what you're looking for, especially when cohabitating and eventually leading to marriage. As a matter of fact, according to a study done by the New York Times, women view cohabitation as a step toward marriage, whereas men just see it as a way to test the waters, postpone commitment. That is insane. And here is another graphic of the amount of percentages of women who actually get married after 6 months or after a year of cohabitating. So as you see, these numbers do not look very well. Now, for those of you like Christina who have lived with a partner before getting married, I'm sure Christina had a clear mutual agreement with her spouse before he became her spouse, and that's why it worked. Again, this is not a rule of thumb. This is not a cookie cutter. This is simply to educate and encourage, so that you guys see the amount of statistics that have been thrown out there and the research that has been done regarding living together before marriage. So again, it's not a rule of thumb. It's not a statistical model, and it can't predict who will get married and who will not get married. It's simply a way to educate you. So the best communication problem, the biggest communication problem is that we do not listen to understand, we listen to reply. So I wanted to share this end quote with you because this is so important. So very important, whether you're married, whether you're thinking of becoming married, and it also has a lot to do with living together before you get married. So it's okay to do. It's not a good idea unless you have a clear mutual understanding and you have a clear and open communication. Okay? Thank you guys. Goodbye, Professor Stagg.